Hey everybody, this is a chronology. I'm going to read out a chronology of Leon Trotsky's life from Ian D. Thatcher's book, Trotsky. Um, so it says, I don't know how might be awkward to listen to, but I think it'll be pretty easy. So Trotsky's born in 1879. In 1896, Trotsky joins his first revolutionary group. In 1898, Trotsky is arrested for revolutionary activities and exiled to Siberia. In 1899, Trotsky marries his first wife, Alexandra Sokolovskaya, also a revolutionary. In 1900, birth of Trotsky's daughter, Zinaida. In 1902, Trotsky has another daughter, Nina, and he escapes from exile and leaves Russia. In 1903, Trotsky meets his second wife, Natalia Sadova. In 1903, Trotsky attends the Russian Social Democratic and Labor Party RSDLP's Second Congress and witnesses the split between Martov and Lenin. In January 1905, Bloody Sunday marks the start of a revolution in Russia, and Tsar Nicholas II grants a Duma or parliament. Oh, shit. That's in October of 1905, Tsar Nicholas II grants a Duma or parliament. In December 1905, Trotsky briefly becomes president of the St. Petersburg Soviet. In 1906, Trotsky gives birth to his first son, Lev, and stands trial with other members of the Soviet. In 1907, Trotsky flees Siberia in exile to live abroad. In 1908, Trotsky settles in Vienna, birth of second son, Sergei. From 1912 to 1914, Trotsky works as war correspondent during the Balkan Wars. In 1914, Trotsky moves to neutral Switzerland and then moves to Paris. He works on the internationalist newspaper Our World, and World War I begins. In 1916, Trotsky is exiled from France to Spain. In January 1917, Trotsky arrives in New York. In February 1917, Nicholas II abdicates. In May 1917, Trotsky arrives in Russia. In August 1917, Trotsky joins the Bolsheviks. In September 1917, Trotsky becomes chairman of the Petrograd Soviet. In October 1917, Trotsky organizes the October Revolution, becomes the People's Commissar for Foreign Affairs. In January 1918, Trotsky heads the peace negotiations with Germany at Brest-Litovsk, resigns as People's Commissar for Foreign Affairs. In March 1918, Trotsky is appointed People's Commissar for Military and Naval Affairs, and the Russian Civil War begins. In November 1918, World War I ends. In 1919, the Third International is founded. In 1920, the Russian Civil War ends, Russo-Polish War. In 1921, the Kronstadt Uprising happens and the new economic policy is adopted. In 1922, Stalin becomes General Secretary. In October 1923, Trotsky sends letter to Central Committee outlining his disagreements with current policy. In 1924, Lenin dies. In 1925, Trotsky is removed as head of military and naval affairs. In 1926, Trotsky is removed from the Politburo. In 1927, in October, Trotsky is removed from the Central Committee. In November 1927, Trotsky is expelled from the Bolshevik Party. In 1928, in January, Trotsky is sent to Alma-Ata, Kazakhstan. In June of 1928, Trotsky's daughter Nina dies from tuberculosis. From July to September of 1928, the Sixth Congress of the Third International is held. In 1929, Trotsky is deported to Turkey, launches the Bulletin of the Opposition. In 1929, the 5-year plans begin in the USSR. In 1930, Trotsky publishes autobiography, My Life, Foundation of an International Left Opposition, in Paris. In 1931, Trotsky publishes History of the Russian Revolution. In 1903, Trotsky's daughter kills herself and he leaves Turkey for France. Also in 1933, Hitler becomes Chancellor of Germany. In 1934, the USSR joins the League of Nations. In 1935, Trotsky moves to Norway. In 1935, the 7th Congress of the Third International happens. In 1936, Trotsky leaves Norway for Mexico. In 1936, Trotsky completes the revolution betrayed. In 1936, Moscow show trials happen, and Spanish Civil War begins. 1937, death of son Sergei in Moscow trials. 1938, death of son Lev Sedov following operation. In 1938, the Fourth International is founded. 1939, Spanish Civil War ends. Soviet-German Pact of Non-Aggression. Start of World War II. 1940, Trotsky is assassinated Trotsky dies following assassination attempt. The end.